something used to happen there. Sometimes there was a strike, medical students were not going on strike. You are learning with people who go to class occasionally, studying for years, but a day may pass before they go to class officially. But you from 8 to 5, you are somewhere. Weekends, you are also supposed to be somewhere. If you are given they are supposed to do, maybe you would have finished it in 2 years. The way we are working. Just keep on. Don't fear. It is doable and it is possible. It is doable and it is possible. Somebody once told us that it is not difficult, but it is hard work. You get the difference? It is not difficult, but it is hard work. You just work hard. The work is not difficult. So I wish you well. I want to leave this meeting and declare this meeting officially open.
Thank you, Daktari, for that. I'm sure everybody has learned something. Now, for the conferences, I think maybe it will be presented, but the 51st KMA conference, the link has been sent to your groups for the past, I think, since January. It will be happening on the 24th to 27th of April this year in Kisumu. And for the students, it's a subsidized price of 15,000. Then there was also another one from Kenya Association of Physicians. It's been sent to the groups as well. It's happening on 6th March at Eka. So maybe when Dr. Ndede will be speaking, we can mention the two. So we'll move on to the next speaker, who is our DVC. And just like he said earlier, he's a medical student. He was a medical student, so he's a medical officer. So his name is Dr. Some. He's once every time he gets to speak, I'm usually inspired. So I hope you guys will be inspired too.
Sasa kuna watu wata stream live.
Good morning once again. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty members, honored guests from our Kenya Kenya Medical Association, both at the national level and the division around Meru, and most importantly, our beloved medical students. It is with great pleasure and deep privilege, a deep sense of privilege, that I stand before you on this day on behalf of the acting Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. Mary Kinoti, who is also the Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs, to address this distinguished gathering at the 5th White Coat and Stethoscope ceremony hosted by the Kenya Methodist Medical Students Association. Thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to address you. I want to appreciate the leaders of the Kenya Methodist Medical Students Association. I've also been learning names. Doreen Mwikali, the chair, Brian Nyabwari, the vice. I think it is, yes, sir. Kimaru, treasurer, Daniel Koome, sports, Ashley Kamau, creative arts. I'll say something about creative arts. Wesley Obiambo, medical education, Bernard Kiproti, public health, Esther Matata, exchange. Let me say something about creative arts. I was for 4 years the chair of MEDCA. We used to call ourselves medical cultural players. And we would dramatize medical events and dramatize messages in a way that many people would wake up and see what we're talking about. I remember writing the 2 plays. One was related to marriage, and we titled it The Guy Has Jammed. The guy jammed on the wedding day. Another one was Kenyatta National Hospital ruins, 2,000 years to come, and how the people of those days will interpret what will be found if a hospital collapsed. Today marks a significant milestone in the journey of your medical education as you embark on the noble path of becoming doctors, indeed caregivers and healers. I note that you are in 2 groups, first year and the 4th years. The white coat and the stethoscope ceremony is a symbol of trust and responsibility bestowed upon you as future physicians, a reminder of the sacred oath you are going to take to uphold the highest standards of professionalism, ethics, and compassion in the practice of medicine. Those of you probably have listened to me. I always want to remind ourselves of the tenets of every field of study or a practice. There are 5 of them. When you enroll in the university, especially at bachelor's, master's, and doctorate level, it's a requirement that you understand the accumulated knowledge in that field of study. That's number 1. Number 2, you will need to understand how that knowledge is organized. And usually we use theories. And when we talk of a theory, it starts all the way from a definition, the principle, a framework, as well as constructs and concepts. Let me illustrate. All of you have a knowledge of what beauty is. But beauty is a construct. And therefore, for you to understand what beauty is, you have to understand the constructs of what makes beauty, and therefore you understand. So, the first 2 tenets of your profession will be to have knowledge and to be able to understand the theories that guide that knowledge. The third, every profession has what I call social contract with society. You're either solving problems in society or meeting challenges or working towards aspirations and commitments of society. Aspirations and commitments of society, and I want all of you to mark this. are usually expressed in policies of government or expressed in policies of private entities. Those policies are usually translated into strategic plans. And therefore, whenever you will be posted, get to know what are the policies, what are the strategic plans, what are the annual targets, what do they want. So you will go into a social contract. Now that social contract practically becomes your letter of appointment and states what is expected of you. Knowledge, theories, social contract. Again, every field of study that has accumulated that knowledge have practitioners and the practice. You need to know who are the practitioners in my field of study. And I want to say something else. Even if Aristotle is dead, we are still in touch with Aristotle as a practitioner through what he wrote. So is Confucius. So is Florence Nightingale. So are others who have published and written books. In fact, our books will outlive us. And so, Dr. Sommer is writing his own books, publishing papers, so that others can interact with my thoughts. For 2 consecutive years, at United States International University, I was the most quoted scientist from the work that I've published. One of the papers that has been quoted many, many times is a research we did with a master's student from Kenyatta University in 2001. And we looked at the health status of elderly people in Dagoretti division in Nairobi. I encourage you to read the paper. It's still quoted even in Japan, China, every time people look at the health of the elderly. So, know the practitioners and the practice. What is it that they did? Acknowledge them when you do your work. That's why we do plagiarism check. If you quote any practitioner, acknowledge them. And finally, every field of study or a profession has a code of ethics or code of conduct and ethics. And you need to know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable behavior in your field of study. The theme of today's ceremony, the role of mentorship, underscores the invaluable impact that mentors have on your journey as medical students. Mentorship is not merely a professional relationship, it is a transformative journey guided by wisdom, experience, and shared humanity. Mentors serve as beacons of inspiration, offering guidance, support, and encouragement for you to navigate the complexities of your medical education and practice. In line with the second tenet of any field of study, discipline, or profession, one of the most common and significant recognize the knowledge that you know. Imitation and modeling in the process of mentorship. According to this theory, individuals learn by observing the behaviors, outcomes of others, especially those
Channel.
seen as role
Start
models.
your internet browser and search for OBS Virtual Camera download.
Allow me to
OBS Forums.
apologize. This morning we
Click Go to
have
download.
good role models
Now the software download to your download folder.
to organizing events. And as long as I will be in this university, you are not going to behave like that.
Before start install, let's see the Tools tab on OBS Studio. As you see, there is no virtual cam in the Tools drop menu. Now let's start install the OBS Virtual Cam. Go to your download folder and start set up OBS Virtual.
I've been a professional master of ceremony, an MC, and a facilitator. All my events start on time and end on time, and every allocation of the activity is observed. It will be useless to have a program and we all break it. If anything, it shows that we are not organized. So I apologize. Out of 9 invited people, only 2 of us were here on time. 22%. That has to improve. I am thinking of a way of including this in our key performance indicators. When the President Mwai Kibaki of Kenya took over, he said a rule. If you are not in the meeting in the first 15 minutes, you do not get a sitting allowance for that meeting. You know what happened? All parliamentary meetings were on time and all members were present.
Cam Windows installer. Click Need one, then click S Studio and my recommendation to start your computer. Now we need to restart the OBS Studio and my recommendation to start your computer.
Must mention that mentors
After restart,
role in providing
open your OBS Studio and check the Tools tab.
and learn from their actions, experience.
In later videos I will show you how to use it.
Each one of us have introduced themselves, and there is something you have learned from how our careers have progressed. So, the social learning theory underscores the reciprocal nature of mentorship, where both the mentor and the mentee engage in a dynamic process of learning and development through interaction, feedback, and shared experience. I, at the moment, call myself 5 things. I am a teacher, a mentor, coach, support, and a network. All the requirements. But there are other things that suppose you to fulfill those requirements. One of them is a study timetable. If you do not budget for the time that you have in what we call 8-8-8, 8 hours of working, 8 hours of hotel work, 8 hours of sleeping. 8 hours of sleep is so critical for a medical student. The end of me.
Don't forget like and if you are not subscribed, subscribe to channel and activate the bell notification icon to be notified with the new videos.
That the brain begins to organize.
Thanks for watching.
To store that which you need to store. I talked of 8 hotel functions. Taking a bath, brushing your teeth, going to the toilet, washing your clothes, sitting out there in the sun to enjoy vitamin D, and all those necessary things that make life comfortable. Now, the 8 hours of work, if you spend less than 4 hours a week on each of your subjects or courses,
Hi everyone,
there's something wrong.
in this video I'll be showing you how to update your OBS Studio to the latest version. So let's get started. So just open OBS Studio. The last option you'll be having help. Just click on it, and here you'll be having check for updates. Just click.
So, interact, seek feedback, share experiences of how you're learning. Group assignment is so important. Now, through successful mentorship, you can achieve 5 valuable outcomes. The first valuable outcome is your personal and professional growth. You can develop new skills by seeing how your mentors are doing. You can develop new knowledge and new competencies relevant to your field.
This patient was going to obtain while in the hospital. So in the attempt, because the patient was refusing some treatment, partly because they were not aware of the risks that they had and the perceived fear of the procedure that they were supposed to go through. So I sat through family conference, because we do that when we need to make those serious life and death decisions in terms of medical intervention for our patients. So during that session, one of the important things that I have learned over the period of time is you need to consider a few things in this professional and personal life balance. And this is the hierarchy of importance of the things around our lives. I am glad our DVC has alluded to some of them. So at the top of this hierarchy of importance in our personal lives is the understanding of God. So God comes at the very top. And it is important to have an understanding and a relationship with Supreme Being. The second one is self. So as an individual, do you understand yourself? Do you know your limits? Do you seek excellence? And do you achieve that excellence? Do you take care of yourself? The third one is family, because we all come from somewhere. We are not islands. So what is the nature of your family? Because this is the primary support system that you have. And the third one is your professional life, because professional life is important because that is where you impact on the society. Professional life is where you also obtain some resources. And these are the resources that you use to take care of yourself and to take care of your family. So again, in the hierarchy of importance, that becomes quite vital. The last one that I would want to talk about is friends. Friends are also very important as part of our environment, and the people we surround ourselves with determine who we are. In fact, many times, I am sure you have heard of the saying that if you show me any 3 or 4 of your friends, I will very closely pick out who you are in terms of your personality, in terms of your character. So you really are who you hang around with. It has also been said that generally, if you hang around 4 millionaires or 4 billionaires for a considerable period of time, you are likely to be the next. So friends become very, very important. Now, in this talk about professional and personal life balance, there are professional demands and there are personal life demands. And because of these demands is why we require to achieve a balance. So how or what are the professional demands that we have and what are the personal life demands that we have? So I'll quickly mention some of this. Now, when we become professionals or when you qualify and become professional, you are on the journey These are the things that will generally bother you through that journey. One is the competency and skills. The journey to acquiring these competencies and skills is an arduous journey, and it places significant demands on your time, on resources, because you have to pay those who give you the skills, and you have to spend a lot of time to gain these skills through repetitive activity. So that is a significant demand. The second demand is for resource accumulation. Granted, we all have the belief that we get into different professions to save the world. A few of us end up saving the world. Majority of us provide service that alleviates suffering to humans. But at the back end, there has to be us. So there will constantly be that push to make an extra point. And that means you work extra hours, you work extra days, you take less holidays, and that is a significant demand. The other demand is to abide by professional ethics and code of conduct. And for this, there is someone who superintends. We have the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, which oversees our professional conduct. So if you are inappropriate with a patient, you are inappropriate with a colleague, or you are inappropriate with a profession, which means you are working, doing things that are not approved medically, then there's someone who oversees that. And if an issue arises, then they adjudicate on that matter and make a determination. So you have to keep the discipline and keep the ethics of the profession to take care of patients in the best way that they require to be taken care of. And that produces a lot of professional demand on yourself so that you always keep on the tight and narrow path. We also have the professional demand to leave a legacy. When we exit our professions, one day we will all walk out of Kenya Methodist University as lecturers or as professors. What shall we be remembered for? I believe every professional thinks about their legacy. What did I do that institution became better because I went to that institution? I can say I founded the Department of Medical Physiology and set the systems which we use up to date. So that is a continuing professional demand, and we always want to make it better through the years. We also have a demand professionally to network, collaborate with other colleagues, and this is particularly important in the era that we are. Dr. Ambayo had mentioned to you that the world has become a global village, such that training in Kenya Methodist University does not restrict you to work in Meru, in Eastern Kenya, or in East Africa, or in Africa. Your scope is as wide as the entire world. And so if you acquire the right skills and competencies, you are employable, or you can attain work anywhere in the world. And indeed, we have colleagues, I have classmates who are currently pursuing their professional careers in different parts of the world. So the choice is yours. You are not limited by where you train or where you are born and raised. So that is an important professional demand that we always have to keep balance. Now, I will quickly move to personal life demands, because then we can see how to create a balance between the different demands. So in terms of personal life, I believe the biggest demand that we have of ourselves is usually to stay healthy. So that becomes a very important demand. How do we keep healthy? Because if you are not healthy, you are not able to achieve your professional obligations. So you must always strive to be healthy. And I am happy that Dr. Bayo mentioned something that we often overlook, which is mental health, the absence of disease. For me, that is the clincher in the definition, that it's not merely the absence of disease that defines that. So it is important that we have that demand of our health as part of our personal life concerns. The second aspect is there's a demand on our personal lives related to health, and that is nutrition and diet. We are always worried. In fact, in most of our communities, we say we work for our stomachs. And when the stomach is happy, we are generally in a good state. It is very difficult to work or even study when you're hungry. So appropriate nutrition is a constant demand of our personal lives. The other demand, which usually comes in around this time or around this age where you people are the social habits. So there are many social habits that are detrimental to our health, and if you pick them at this point, you live long with them, and eventually they harm you. If you pick the best social habits, then you also have a very good personal life. The other demand we have is that of financial planning. So a lot of us dream, and some of these dreams are true, that when we become professionals, we'll make some money. Some of us will make a lot of money. Some of us will be wealthy. And maybe one or two may be billionaires. Not everyone will be a billionaire here, much as we hope everyone will be. But the reality is, whatever we make, we must plan for it. Now, financial planning is important in your well-being and is part of your personal life demands. I am sure the representative of KME Sacco is here, and she will have a session and she will tell you how the KME Sacco comes in to help us as part of the tools we can use for